The crowd holds its breath as the drums reach a crescendo. A line of barefoot devotees stands before a 20-foot-long pit of glowing embers, the heat so intense it makes the air shimmer. One by one, they step forward, not in fear, but with serene determination, placing their naked feet onto coals that burn at over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The smell of burning flesh never comes. No screams of pain pierce the night. When the last participant emerges on the far side, their souls are untouched, their faces radiant with triumph. This is firewalking, one of humanity's most ancient and mysterious rituals, practiced for millennia across continents and cultures, yet still hotly debated between scientists and spiritualists today. Our story begins not in a laboratory, but in a small Tamil Nadu village where the annual Thimithai festival is about to reach its climax. Among the devotees is 45-year-old Ramesh, a third-generation firewalker who has performed this ritual every year since he was 16. When I walk, he explains, rubbing sacred ash across his forehead, I am not Ramesh the shopkeeper. I become an instrument of Draupadi Arman. The fire knows its devotees. His words echo the belief held by thousands of Hindu firewalkers that divine protection shields the faithful from harm. Yet just 8,000 miles away in a Chicago University lab, physicist Dr. Elena Petrov is peering through thermal imaging equipment at a miniature firewalk setup, muttering about the thermal conductivity under the Leidenfrost effect. These two worlds, the spiritual and the scientific, have been engaged in a quiet duel for centuries, each claiming to explain this impossible feat. The scientific explanations are indeed compelling. When Dr. Petrov demonstrates with a slab of steak, a stand-in for human flesh, on hot coals, the results seem to support her position. Wood embers have surprisingly low thermal conductivity, she explains, adjusting her glasses. They're like terrible heat sponges. Combine that with rapid, light stepping, average contact time is just half a second per foot, and you've got a recipe for walking safely. She then demonstrates the Leidenfrost effect by sprinkling water on a hot pan. The droplets skitter across the surface rather than instantly boiling away. A thin layer of sweat or moisture on the feet can create this protective vapor barrier, she concludes triumphantly. But back in Fiji, where firewalking is believed to have originated centuries ago with the Sawau tribe, 70-year-old village elder Tomosi shakes his head at such explanations. The scientists measure the coals, but they don't measure faith, he says, watching as his grandson prepares for his first firewalk. The initiation rite involves weeks of fasting, ritual cleansing, and the drinking of sacred Yukona, kava. When our ancestors made peace with the fire spirit, Tomosi continues, they gave us this gift. The fire knows who approaches with respect. His grandson, a university biology student named Joan, finds himself torn between these worldviews. I know what my textbooks say about heat transfer, he admits, but when I see my uncle walk slowly, not quickly like the scientists say, across stones that would melt rubber slippers, I can't explain that. This tension between empirical evidence and lived experience plays out dramatically in motivational firewalking seminars, where New Age spirituality meets corporate team building. Enter charismatic life coach Jason Firewalker McGrath, whose $2,000 per person weekend workshops promise to ignite your limitless potential. His events feature all the scientific precautions, proper cold preparation, quick stepping techniques, but are framed as spiritual breakthroughs. Your feet won't burn, he tells participants, when your mind is on fire with purpose. Yet YouTube is littered with videos of botched motivational firewalks where screaming participants suffer third-degree burns. Those are the ones who doubted, McGrath insists, though burn specialists point to improper cold preparation and inadequate training. Perhaps the most fascinating cases are the rare individuals who seem to defy all scientific explanation. Take Sister Lucia, a Portuguese nun who in 1957 walked across a 12-foot coal bed during a religious ecstasy, moving at a glacial pace that should have resulted in catastrophic burns, yet emerged unscathed. Or the well-documented 1935 case of Kuda Bux, the Kashmiri mystic who not only walked on fire but allowed doctors to press glowing coals directly against his skin for up to 30 seconds without injury. Modern researchers remain baffled by these outliers, with some proposing theories about extraordinary mind-over-body control or even temporary changes in skin conductivity during trance states. Cultural anthropologist Dr. Priya Desai, who has studied firewalking across 3 continents, offers a mediating perspective. What we're seeing is the placebo effect in its most dramatic form. When belief, whether in gods, science, or one's own mental power, aligns with favorable physical conditions, extraordinary things become possible. She notes that in traditional settings where firewalking is sacred, injury rates are astonishingly low compared to secular attempts. The ritual creates a perfect storm of optimal physical conditions and unshakable psychological certainty. As technology advances, new research is emerging that may bridge these perspectives. Neuroscientists at Stanford have begun studying firewalkers' brain activity during rituals, finding remarkable similarities to advanced meditators. Meanwhile, materials scientists are developing fire-resistant fabrics inspired by firewalkers' feet. The most profound revelation, however, may be philosophical, that the centuries-old dichotomy between science and spirituality might be false. After all, the Leidenfrost effect doesn't negate the power of faith, it explains the mechanism by which that faith manifests physically. As dusk falls again in Tamil Nadu, Ramesh prepares for another walk. Half a world away, Dr. Petrov watches the live stream on her laptop, thermal imaging software at the ready. Both, in their own ways, are seeking truth in the flames. When Ramesh emerges unharmed once more, the physicist leans back, thoughtful. The numbers check out, she murmurs, but there's still magic in how everything comes together. Meanwhile, in Fiji, young Joan takes his first successful steps across the stones, feeling in that moment both the pride of his ancestors and the satisfaction of knowing that somewhere, a physicist could probably explain exactly why his feet didn't burn. In the end, firewalking endures not as a puzzle to be solved, but as a living testament to human potential, a ritual where for a few breathless moments, the seemingly impossible becomes possible, regardless of whether we credit gods, neurons, or the laws of thermodynamics. Perhaps the greatest lesson isn't how firewalkers avoid burns, but why humans keep walking toward mysteries in the first place, because some truths can only be discovered by stepping into the fire.